Hello folks, this is X-Plane 12 and we're going to have a bit of a chat about it. Okay there. I actually thought it was quite strange for Civilian Flight Simulator to show this. This of course is the F-14 Tomcat, and I've got to admit guys, when I first saw this I just thought it was some sort of X-Plane 11 mod. I don't think it grabs me at all, and I was just a little bit disappointed. I think the only thing I can see that looks cool is the sky colours look very, very nice indeed. But apart from that, I'm like, what the hell? It looks very nice, but I think their time could have been better spent in other areas than trying to make a really nice realistic F-14 Tomcat. But anyway, let's have a chat about X-Plane 12. Now, I'm not going to go through every single feature, but just a few things that really caught my eye, and I'll leave a link in the description below of the full keynote presentation. But of course, it's great to see some very nice modern new weather effects, including puddles. That lib rain that we all loved from the sort of add-on from X-Plane 11 is now integrated and moves with the prevailing winds and physics of the aircraft. That's very cool indeed. Also, the sort of skies are now covered in volumetric clouds, which are all fantastic as well. But in terms of the dynamic weather engine and how that behaves, well, I'll leave Austin to describe what that does. I think Austin might have finally lost the plot here. I mean, I'm all for a joke, guys, but when the next generation of X-Plane is being announced to the world, I'm not sure that this was the best idea, personally. But anyway, we'll move on. So, of course, that weather engine, I'm a little bit disappointed, guys. I was expecting more, to be honest. And we are so spoilt by Microsoft Flight Simulator's dynamic weather engine, which they're keeping secret. You cannot access their SDK, and this is the reason. There's no other flight sim that can actually compete with that type of weather engine. And it's the big selling point for me, as also is the ortho imagery, but we'll get into that in a moment. They've also upgraded a lot of their fleet, including the A330, which now has fly-by-wire control, which is a lot more realistic, and next-level systems integration. So that's really cool. And I do feel that X-Plane 12 will still be the best sim for system simulation. And of course, that flight model, the Blade Element Theory, is completely sort of proven within the real aviation circles and is used as well. So if you want that most fluid flight model, it absolutely is X-Plane 11 and 12. We've also got ambient sounds, and I'm just going to shut up so you can hear a bit of that now. I do think ambient sounds are very important, and it's great to see this in X-Plane 12, although I do feel that this has been definitely inspired by a certain other sim. It's great also to see that they're spending a lot of time on trees. In fact, they mention trees a lot in the presentation, including how they move around the seasons, but I think that's mainly to do with sort of the different colours of trees. And of course, you know, those sounds actually are dynamic and they are dependent upon the wind direction, which I think is quite cool because they're Fmod compatible. And as you can see here, the way that the trees interact with the wind looks far better, I have to say, than Microsoft Flight Simulator in this case. And listen to those rain effects. Very nice indeed. I have to say, though, that the lightning effects, as you'll see here right now, looks absolutely rubbish. I mean, oh my goodness me, that's been ported over from not just X-Plane 11, but that same horrible sort of penciled-in lightning effect has been there since, I think, X-Plane 9 or something. But I think overall, it's great to see that the volumetric clouds and the 3D tree engine, among other effects, have now made it over to the GPU, so it should run much better and actually be a lot easier for your computer to render, even though it looks much better as well. I have to say that the clouds in general don't actually look as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator, and in fact, I think even some payware volumetric cloud engines from X-Plane 11 look much better than this as well. So hopefully this is just sort of a beta build, and they will improve over time. Now, that's one thing I do love about Laminar, is that they are definitely committed to updating this sim. If you think about X-Plane 11 when it first released to what it was like at the very end of its iteration, it was an absolutely completely different sim in many ways. I love also that the water effects have been hugely updated. Again, the tessellation is now onto the GPU, and as you can see there, it moves with the prevailing winds. Systems of most of the aircraft have definitely been modelled. Here we have a beautiful new general aviation aircraft, Cirrus, which looks beautiful, as well as a new Citation business jet, which I am very excited to check out, the Citation X. And you can see there, a lot of the systems have been truly overhauled. Now, the last point that I want to show here is the air traffic control system. Look at that menu. It looks like it's been lifted straight from Microsoft Flight Simulator again, which again, is not such a bad thing. And it's great to finally see VFR support, so you can check the weather, have localized procedures, and also you have a push to talk mode as well, which is pretty cool. Also, I have to say that they have added new voices, which could be regional specific, although from what I can hear so far from the ATC engine, it does sound rather robotic still, if I'm honest. And in fact, you can hear a bit of that now.
India Center, November 750, X-ray pop, radio check.
November 750, X-ray Papa, reading you strength 5.
I think the air traffic control system is definitely something that excites me about X-Plane 12. Even if some of the voices do sound robotic, I do feel that I'd get used to that, and the sort of the depth of that program and the options for VFR really excite me. I think the only other thing that I'm going to mention in this quick little sort of brief video is the scenery engine. In fact, it hasn't really been updated at all, as you can see here. X-Plane are still very much committed to what they call the plausible world environment, which basically is a nice way of saying autogen. And they've just added a few more assets and objects. I'm just a little bit frustrated by that. I realise they can't compete with the data that Microsoft Flight Simulator has, particularly with their sort of Bing maps. But, we had Ortho XP for X-Plane 11. If there was a way to interject that application within the sim itself, that would be great. Although I do appreciate there's all sorts of licensing issues surrounding that. Now, of course, the big elephant in the room is perhaps the fact VR was not mentioned at all. But so long as it's the system from X-Plane 11 is still in there, and perhaps a few tweaks, I'll be fairly happy because it was pretty damn good in the first place. So that's it for this video. I want to now hear from you guys. What do you think about X-Plane 12? Would you like to see content on the channel? Please do let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all again very soon. Take care, and bye for now.